I really love chess still. I really enjoy it. We can all play 1e4. I have a bit of that quality too. On a given day, anybody can win. All of us can. Like, you can, he can, they can, and just me is not good enough. If draw gives you a qualification spot, I guess you're like, gonna fight for it.
Anish, what a result. Going into the final round, 5-way tie, basically putting yourself in a must-win position against Hans. First of all, how did you manage the stress going into today?
Well, I didn't quite experience it as a stress. I was, going into this event, you're really hoping for a scenario like that. To preserve the chances to qualify with only one round to go means you've done extremely well. So I didn't quite experience it as stress. I was really grateful that I have the opportunity, and also thought it's a very fitting opponent. Hans plays fighting chess. So no, I was really positive about it. Like, I think my chances to qualify for the candidates haven't been this good in a long time as they were before my game today. So I was really thrilled to be there.
And the actual preparation after 1c4 Hans was taking some time at the board. Tell us about the prep going into this game.
Yeah, nowadays, you can't attach yourself really to an opening the way people used to. Like, there were players back then, like who would be like the Catalan player or like the Najdorf player. And like nowadays, if you start relying on just one opening, people can prepare so deeply for you that it won't quite do it. So I can't say like c4 is the most amazing move, but for today it was good. And yeah, I think I must have been a good choice. He spent a lot of time, got into a very unpleasant position. I think before the game he was in as much must-win as I was, actually even more so. Because there were scenarios where we would share a second place, or the first one even. And there were scenarios where like basically I would need a lot of luck to become second, but he would need to have even more luck because he was even behind me. So he was basically next in line. So it's unlikely that I would make it with a draw, but he would be even less likely. So draw was bad for him, and defending an endgame like that without like a proper motivation is probably hard. If draw gives you a qualification spot, I guess you're like, gonna fight for it with your all might, trying to hold this unpleasant endgame. But I guess if it's already gone wrong, the game, and you were hoping to win, and now you're sitting there in that endgame, it will be probably a lot harder to defend. But either way, yeah, it went really smooth in a way, and yeah, it just went actually quite well from the start to finish.
Sounds like you were doing the math to see who would end where, especially that there's so many of you. How closely were you following the other games?
Honestly, not well. I was following them as closely as I always do. I was just interested about the games, but I didn't pay like that much attention because, well, I realized that anyway, qualifying with the draw is really unlikely. Then I also realized it's even less likely than people were saying, because they all run the simulations assuming that games are independent. The problem is that if they see that my game ends in a draw, then it could impact the way they play. So imagine a situation where Alireza and Blue Baum have a very complex position, which is for 3 results, but they already see that draw guarantees them qualification. Then instead of playing that game out with wins and losses as part of the simulation, they would actually not play it out. They would just offer the draw past move 30 and fix the qualification spots for themselves. So simulations were wrong, so my 10% with the draw were not 10%, were much less. And the way games unfolded, yeah, I saw Arjun Vincent is just fighting as ever, likely a winner there. Alireza, I thought it was going to be a draw from very early on. I mean, Blue Baum Matthias had a very solid position, and I didn't think Alireza would lose, taking so much risk, but I didn't think he would win either. So I basically had to win, and I knew if I win, it's almost certainty that I'll qualify. So looking at other games was more just out of curiosity, not really for the tournaments, not really from the qualification perspective.
And looking forward to the 2026 candidates, big deal playing in this now. How are you going to spend the next months? How will the next months look preparing? Yeah,
no, it's really huge for me. I'm really happy. It's really a tremendous opportunity for me to work towards something as big, and I think it means a lot more to me now than it did before. Before I sort of saw it as like a kind of side byproduct of my chess career. when I hear interviews of some young players, I sort of realized that I thought the same how they thought when I was, and now that I got older, like somehow it changed the way I perceive these things, and I really wanted to qualify so much more than I did before, and I really need this kind of motivation right now to give it my best to enjoy the process even more. And okay, I have many tournaments lined up, but I think it's all fitting very well with trying to improve as a player, trying to get better, and really excited. I also really love the process of like having a team and working with them, because it's as much about getting in the right mindset, having a good time, as it is about concrete moves on the board. So I'm just really happy with that. I had a small but a really enjoyable training camp for this event. So I was grateful for this event itself, that it's there, because as a path to the candidates, it gave me the excuse sort of for to arrange that kind of training camp. It's a lot harder nowadays for me than when I was a kid to do that. There's so much more chess now. There's so many more, everything moves so much faster. It's so much harder to find space really to prepare. So yeah, I was happy already, but now with candidates, I'll be able to, to have that process at a much larger scale, and I'm really looking forward to that a lot.
You're drawing a lot of comparisons between your younger self and you now. Do you enjoy chess more now?
I really love chess still. I really, really, really enjoy it. But I think that purely the game itself, I think I was more into it when I was a kid, and I think it's been going slowly down, like at like a very high level. So like I still love chess like insane. Addicted to chess, and but it was more, and I think it's slowly going down with age. Because I remember at the very beginning when I was just starting out, and I was like 2100 player, not titled yet. Like I was like 11 or something. I was so much into playing. I just loved playing anywhere. I would play with my friends, blindfold, on the bus, on the train. Like I just wanted to play. And I remember we had a train ride to this Russian under 12, around 10, whatever, 10, 12 probably championship, and we were, I was going to another room in the train. There was a guy who also wanted to play. We played all the time, and I just loved playing itself. Now for me, it's just playing like that without stakes it's not the same. Like I can do this, of course, but it doesn't give me the same feeling as it used to. Now for me, like chess is more about besides just being a game. It's more about the whole professional journey, trying to get better, trying to achieve certain goals. It's become more goal-oriented. I mean, I still have the passion for the game itself, but it's become a lot more goal-oriented. And so that kind of changed. I think it's natural. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's like a natural thing.
It's your profession.
Yeah, I think it's happening to most players. I think some start noticing these things and they mistake them for something else, and they get upset about it, or they think that something's wrong. They think chess doesn't bring as much joy as it did before. You hear these interviews of like Carlsen or some other players, but I think that's just natural, and I don't think it's less now. I'm kind of having more fun now, I think, than I did when I qualified to candidates in 2016 and 2020. I really think I enjoy it more now, honestly. But it's in a different way.
Earlier in the event, I asked you about your goals, and you boldly said becoming world champion, which is of course the big one, and now you've gotten one step closer to that. What qualities do you think make a world champion, and which of those do you have?
I think you need to be extremely lucky, and in this tournament I proved that I have a bit of that quality too, sometimes. It's getting harder. You never know. I think currently the playing field is very level. I gave this interview where people kind of mistook that interview as if I said something against certain players. When I said that some players will drop out, and I brought up some names, and some of those players actually dropped out of top 10, and I just brought up like a bunch of names. It was not about particular players, but just as a general. I was talking about the notion that somehow all the top players now, they're like, I don't see anybody standing out, with all due respect. Like, sometimes, okay, Gukesh had this insane run, right? Olympiad, Canada's match. But now he's having a rough tournament. Prague had an epic run, had a rough tournament here. Those who didn't have an amazing run had a good run here. And like, people keep changing. Vincent, has his highs, has his lows. Alireza has his highs, his lows. And I don't know if it's to do with just chess changing, or maybe there isn't a player who is above others. I would also really love to see if Carlsen would continue playing classical chess, if he would be able to maintain his domination. I guess he would be, but I would expect that it would take a different form and he would become a different player than he is right now. But I don't know that really. But in any case, people that are playing now, the upcoming candidates, and also Gukesh as well as a world champion, I think these are all tremendous players. But I think, as you can see, on a given day, anybody can win. And I don't see, if the playing field is so even, everybody's working so hard, why they have a shot and I don't see any. It would be something. That would mean that something is really wrong just with me. Yeah, there's so many great players and just me is not good enough. That would be odd. There's nothing too wrong with me, so maybe nothing too right either. But I think as I showed in this event as well, I didn't play many very strong players, but overall I outperformed many great players. In my final game, I beaten a very, very strong player who was very motivated. I think I could have won. Hans could have won as well. I think with luck, I was able. And I hope the same will continue in the candidates and the match. But it's a long way to go, though I must say that this is a big step too. I think to get to candidates is really hard nowadays.
Yeah, the qualification is just insane. But World Cup is also coming up and the circuit. Lots of ways to get there, but you're already there. That's not a stress for you anymore.
My problem. I mean, I was ready after today to get back into the World Cup, but World Cup, it's a great event. I love it. I'm gonna play. I guess regardless, it's anyway a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to play it, but it's a very tricky qualification path. I mean, I've played a lot of them. I once got very close to qualify through World Cup, but I qualified that time by rating. I lost semi-final to Svidler, and I played really well that year. World Cup is really, really tricky. First of all, in general, it's hard to qualify to candidates because there are 8 spots and there are more than 8 players. And then no matter the format you do, it will be always difficult. Basically, just how it works. You can do Swiss, you can do close, you can do circuit, you can do knockout. But if you have, let's say, 20 great players and 8 spots, it will always be hard for all 20 players. So qualifying candidates is just really hard. You just need luck.
Yeah. My final question to you, we've spoken about your chessable courses throughout this event and you updating your Najdorf, but will you be creating an endgame one now, since we've seen some great endgame play in your games?
They don't sell very well, no. Endgame courses don't sell very well because people, they understood that they just don't make it to the end games, really. They blunder the pieces much before. And openings is, even if it not always improves your results, it gives you certain joy. And it's a way to link, it's an amazing link we have in chess between, basically it links everybody in chess. So we have people that just started, right? You have people that ended, you have all people in between, you have prodigies, you have this, title players, this, that. And we're all united by the fact that we can all play 1e4. All of us can. You can, he can, they can, everybody can play 1e4. And against 1e4, everybody can play the Najdorf. And that is really beautiful, and that's why also openings do so well and sell so well. And that's why I also think it's so important to preserve classical and normal regular chess, unlike the variants where there isn't that, because I think openings is really it's a vital part of chess. And for me, if you remove openings from chess, it's not chess anymore. I mean, it's a good game, but I think it's so fundamental for the game that, I just see it as integral part of chess. And also going to the game today, it's a decisive game for me, for Hans, and I have to decide which move I'm going to make, and it's a very difficult decision. And And I understand that it would be tempting for me to say I don't want to take that decision. I just want to get a random position on the board and just play it. But just because it's difficult, it doesn't mean that this is right. I mean, this is what's always been like that throughout my career. There's always been games, and I always had to make a first move, and I always had to prepare. And for me, that's just part of the game. So I think it's, yeah, opening courses. More opening courses. Coming soon.
Well, thank you so much, Anish. Good luck for the candidates in your preparation, and enjoy the stage this evening at the closing ceremony.
Thank you. Thank you.